doubly damned, and quite possibly even thrice damned, if he was going to advise his father to go at him. In fact, said Fat Charlie, closing, the best thing about getting married was not having to invite his dad to the reception. And Fat Charlie saw the expression on Rose's face and the icy gleam in her normally friendly eyes, and he corrected himself hurriedly, explaining that he meant the second best, but it was already much too late. "You just have to get used to the idea," said Rosie. "After all, a wedding is a marvelous opportunity for mending fences and pointing bridges. It's your opportunity to show him that there are no hard feelings." "But there are hard feelings," said Fat Charlie. "Lots." "Do you have an address for him?" asked Rosie. "Or a phone number? You probably ought to phone him. Letter's a bit impersonal when all your only son is getting married." "You are his only son, aren't you? Does he have you?" "Yes, and his only son. I have no idea if he has a name or not. Probably not," said Fat Charlie. "Letters were good things," he thought. "You didn't get lost in the pause for a start." "Well, you must have an address or a phone number." "I don't," said Fat Charlie honestly. "Maybe his father had moved away, but he could have left Florida and got somewhere. They didn't have telephones or addresses." "Well," said Rosie sharply. "Yes, Miss Higgler," said Fat Charlie, and all the fight went out of him. Rosie smiled sweetly. "And who is Miss Higgler?" she asked. "Friend of the family," said Fat Charlie. "When I was growing up, she used to live next door." He had spoken to Mrs. Higgler several years before this, when his mother was dying. He had his mother's request telephoned Miss Higgler to pass on the message to Fat Charlie's father, to tell him to get in touch, and several days later had been a message at Fat Charlie's answer phone, left while he was at work, in a voice that was unmistakably his father's, even if it did sound rather older and always drunk. His father said that it was not a good time, and that business affairs would be keeping him in America. And then he added that for everything, Fat Charlie's mother was a damn fine woman. Several days later, a vase of flowers had been delivered to the ward. Fat Charlie's mother has noted, when she read the card, "Thinks you can get around me that easy," she said. "He's got another thing coming, I can tell you that." But he had the nurse put the flowers in the place on the paper. Several times since, had asked Fat Charlie if he had heard anything about his father coming and visiting her before it was all over. Fat Charlie said he didn't. He grew to hate the question, and his answer, and the expression on her face when he told her that no, his father wasn't coming. The worst day, in Fat Charlie's opinion, was the day that the doctor, a gruff little man, had taken Fat Charlie aside and told him that it would not be long now, that his mother was fading fast, and it was a matter of keeping him comfortable till the end. Fat Charlie has nodded, going in to his mother. She had held his hand and was asking him whether or not he had remembered to pay her gas bill, when the noise began in the corridor, clashing, popping, stomping, rattling. brass and drum sort of noise, or the kind that tends not to be heard in hospitals, where things in the stairwells regressed quiet, and the icy glares of the nursing staff enforced it. The noise was getting louder. For one moment Charlie thought it might be terrorists. His mother thought, smiled weakly at the cacophone. "Yellow bird," she whispered. "What?" said Fat Charlie, scared that she had stopped making sense. "Yellow bird," she said louder and more firmly. "It's what they are playing." Fat Charlie went to the door and looked out. Coming down the hospital corridor, ignoring the protest nurses, the stares of patients in pajamas, and their failing lights, with what appears to be a very small New Orleans jazz band. There was a saxophone, and a sousaphone, and a trumpet. There was an enormous man with what appeared to be a double bass strung around his neck. It was a man with a bass drum, which he brought on the head of the pack, and a smart check suit with a pork pie hat and lemon gloves. King Fat Charlie's father plied no instrument, but was doing a soft-shoe shuffle around the polished linoleum of the hospital floor, lifting his hat to each of the medical staff in turn, shaking hands with anyone who get close enough to talk or to attempt to complain. But Charlie bit his lip and prayed to anyone who might be listening that the earth would open and swallow him, failing that he might suffer brief, merciful, and entirely fatal heart attack. No such luck. He reminded up to 11. The brass band kept coming. His father kept dancing and shaking hands and smiling. "There is any justice in the world," thought Charlie. "My father will keep going down the corridor, and he goes straight past us and into the genital department, but there was no justice." And his father reached the door, down corridor walled and stopped. "Fat Charlie," he said, loud enough that everyone in the ward, on that floor in the hospital, was able to comprehend that this was someone who knew Fat Charlie. "Fat Charlie, get out of the way. Your father is here." Fat Charlie, get out of the way. The band that brought the Fat Charlie's father snuck their way through the wall to Fat Charlie's mother's bed. She looked up at them as they approached, and she smiled. "Yellow bird," she said weakly. "It's my favorite song. And what kind of Maryland would it be if I forgot that?" asked Fat Charlie's father. She shook her head slowly. She reached out her hand and squeezed his hand in its lemon-yellow glow. "Excuse me," said the woman with a clipboard. "Are those people with you?" "No," said Fat Charlie, his cheeks heating up. "They're not really." "But that is your mother, isn't it?" said the woman with a merciless glance. "I must ask you to make these people vacate the ward momentarily, without incurring any further disturbance." Fat Charlie muttered. "What was that?" "I said I'm pretty sure I can't make them do anything," said Fat Charlie, consoling himself that things could not be possibly getting worse, and his father took a plastic carriage back from the drummer, began producing cows, brown, out, and handing them out his band to the nurse and staff to the patients. Then he lit a chair. "Excuse me," said the woman with the clipboard. While she solved it more, she lounged herself across the room for Charlie's father, like a screwed missile with its watch on upside down. And Charlie took that moment to slip on. It seemed the wisest course of action. He sat at home that night, waiting for the phone to ring or for the knock on the door, in much the same spirit that the man kneeling at the guillotine might wait for the blade to kiss his neck. But the doorbell did not ring. He barely slept, and slunk in the hospital the following afternoon, prepared for the worst. His mother, in her bed, looked happier than she had looked in months. "Let's come back," she told Charlie when he came in. "Good and stay." "I have to say, Charlie, I wish you hadn't just gone like that. You would have happy having a party here. We had a fine old time." But Charlie could think of nothing worse than having to attend a party in a cancer ward thrown by his father with a jazz band. He didn't say anything. "He is not a bad man," said Charlie's mother, without a twinkle in her eye. Then she frowned. "Well, that's not exactly true. He's certainly not a good man, but he did me a power of good last night." She smiled, a real smile, for a moment, looked young again. The woman with the clipboard was standing in the doorway. She crooked her finger at him. But Charlie beetled down toward her, apologizing before she was even properly within earshot. "Hello," he asked, as he got closer to her. It's no longer that of her basilisk stomach cramps. Now she looked positively kittenish. "Father," she said. "I'm sorry," she shouted. It was what Meow said grow up with his father, who was mentioned. No, no, no," said the former basilisk. "Nothing to apologize for. I was just wondering, your father, in case we need to get in touch with him. We don't have a telephone number or an address in file. I should have asked him last night, but I completely got away from me." "I don't think he has a phone number," said Fat Charlie. "And the best way to find him is to go to Miami and to drive up Highway A1A. That's the coast road that runs southeast of Florida. In the afternoon, you might find him fishing for bridge. In the evening, he'll be in a bar." "Such a charming man," she said wishfully. "What does he do?" "I told you. They say it's a miracle of the loaves and the fishes." She stared at him blankly, and he felt stupid. When his father said, people laughed. Like in the Bible, the miracle of the loaves and the fishes. That used to say that he loved and fishes. Now it's the miracle that he still makes money. It was a sort of joke. I missed the look. Yes, told the funniest jokes. She chuckled at Tom. Tom Small was our business. Now, I need you back here at 5:30. Why? To pick up your mother and her belongings. Didn't Dr. Johnson tell you we were discharging her? You're sending her home? Yes, Mr. Rice. What about the cancer? Seems to have been a false one. Charlie couldn't understand how it could have been a false one. Last week, they'd been talking about sending his mother to a hospice. The doctor had been using phrases like not once, and making her as comfortable as possible. We wait for the inevitable. Still, Fat Charlie came back at 5:30 and picked up his mother, who seemed quiet and surprised to learn that she was no longer there. On the way home, she told Fat Charlie that she would be using her life savings to travel around the world. The doctors were saying I had 3 months, she said, and I remember I told if I get out of this hospital bed that I am going to see Paris, Rome, and places, going back to Dominicana. I may go to Africa, China. I like Chinese food. Charlie wasn't sure what was going on, but whatever it was, blamed his father. He accompanied his mother and a serious suitcase to Heathrow Airport. He waved her goodbye at the international departures gate. She was smiling hugely as she went toward clutching his passport and tickets. And she looked younger than he remembered her looking in many years. She sent him postcards from Paris, from Rome, from Athens, from Lax and from Cape Town. Her postcards from Nanking told him that she hadn't liked the Chinese food in China, and that she couldn't wait to come back to London and eat proper Chinese food. She died in her sleep in a hotel resort on the island of Dominicana. At the funeral, the South-London crematorium, Charlie kept expecting to see his father. Perhaps his father would make an entrance at the head of a jazz band, followed down the A's by the clown troupe, or a half-dozen tricycle-riding, cigar-puffing chimpanzees. And even during the service, Fat Charlie kept glancing back over his shoulder toward the chapel door. But Fat Charlie's father was not there. All his wild friends and relations, mostly big women with black hats, blowing their noses and babbling at their eyes and shaking their heads. It was during the final hymn, after the button had been pressed, and Fat Charlie's mother had trotted off down the corridor, prior to her final roll, that Fat Charlie noticed a man about his own age, tending at the back of the chapel. It was not his father, firstly. It was someone he didn't know. Someone he might not even have noticed at the back in the shadows. He had not been there to throw glances back, and that there was a stranger in an elegant black suit, his eyes lowered, his hands folded. Fat Charlie let his glance linger a moment long, and the stranger looked at Fat Charlie, and he flashed him Charlie's smile, with the kind that suggests that they were both in this together. It was not the kind of expression you see on the faces of strangers, but Fat Charlie could not place him on. He turned his face back to the front of the chapel. He sang Swing Low, Sweet Charlie. Some Fat Charlie was pretty sure his mother had always disliked, and the Reverend White invented them back to Fat Charlie's great aunt Honor for something to eat. There was nobody at his great aunt Salama that he didn't know. In the years since his mother died, he sometimes wondered about the man, who he was, why he was there, yet Fat Charlie had simply imagined him. So, said Rosa, friend each other, you carry on Miss Figure and give her my mobile number. Tell her about the wedding date today. That's at all. Do you think we should invite her? We can, if we like, said Fortune. I don't think she'll come. She gets scared of flying. She's an old family friend. She knew my dad back in the dark ages. Well, sound her out. See if we should be sending her an invitation. Rosie was a good person. There was a little bit of essence, Francis, Assisi, Robin Hood, Buddha, and Glen let go. The knowledge that she was about to bring gave her a true love, and the strange father gave her for the coming wedding an extra dimension. She decided it was not simply a wedding, it was practically a humanitarian mission. And Fatchai has no Rosie long enough to know never to stand between his fancy and her need to go to do good. I can't miss a glow tomorrow, he said. Tell you what, said Rosie with an endearing wrinkle on her nose. Call her tonight. It's not light in America after all. But Charlie nodded. They walked out of the wine bar together, crossing with a spring in her step. But Charlie, like a man going to the gallows, told himself not to be silly. After all, perhaps Miss Hitler had moved, or had her phone disconnected. It was possible. Anything was possible. He came up with a plan. They went up to Fat Charlie's place, the upstairs, half of a smallish house of the Brixton Road. What time is it in Florida? It's close. Late afternoon, said Charlie. Well, go on then. Maybe we should wait a bit, in case she's out. And maybe we should go now, before she has her dinner. But Charlie found his old paper address book. Under each was a scrap of an envelope in his mother's handwriting, with a telephone number on it. And beneath that, carry on, go. The phone rang and rang. She's not there, he said to Rosie, but at the moment the phone on the other end was answered. The female voice said, Yes, who is it? Is this Miss Higgler? Who is this? Said Miss Higgler. If you're one of the downtown marketers, you take me off your list right now, or I see. I know my rights. Oh, it's me, Charles Nancy. I used to live next door to you. Fat Charlie. If that had been down, I was looking for your number all this morning. I turned this place upside down looking for it. And do you think I could find it? What I think happened was I had it written in my old accounts books, and it got thrown out by mistakes. So then I turned the place, and I said to my dad, What's up? Carry on. This is a good time to just pray and hope the Lord hears you and sees you right. They went down my knees. Well, my knees aren't what they were, so I just put my hands together. But anyway, I still don't find your number. But I get your phone in here now, and that's even better from some point of view. Practically, because I ain't made of money. I can't afford to go phoning on foreign countries, even or something like this. After all, I was going to phone you. Don't you worry, given the circumstances. And she stopped suddenly. Either to take a breath or to take a sip for a huge mug of hot coffee She always carried in her hand, and during the brief quietus what Charlie said, I want to ask my dad to come to my wedding. Get him married. There she was silence at the end of the line. It's not till the end of the year, I thought, he said, still silent. Her name's frozen, he added happily. He was starting to wonder if they had been cut off. Conversations with Miss Hitler were normally somewhere one-sided at first, often with her doing no lines for you. And then she was letting him say 3 whole things uninterrupted. Decided to go for a 4th. You can call too, if you want, so. Lord, 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 said Miss Hitler. Nobody told you, did they? Told me what? So she told him, smiling at the time, while he stood there and said nothing at all. And when she was done, said, Thank you, Miss Hitler. He wrote something down on a scrap of paper. Then he said thanks, not really thanks, again, and he put down the phone. Wax closed. Have you got this number? But Charlie said that won't be coming to the wedding. Then he said, I have to go to Florida. His voice was flat, without emotion. He might have been saying, I have to order a new checkbook. When? Tomorrow. Where? Funeral.